This is Remix Report with your hosts, DJ JD and DJ J Spring. For the date of
August 4th, 2010.
Hey everyone, welcome to episode 79 of Remix Report. I'm DJ JD.
And I'm DJ J Spring, and today we're going to start a new dimension of our Playlist Wednesdays. Today we're going to be discussing songs that don't have the normal 8-bar chorus structure, songs that you might have a little trouble mixing out of if you're not prepared. And we always preach that you guys got to study your music and know the structures of the songs because they're not all 8 bars. It's not a perfect world where you can just go to your record pools, download your music, not listen to it, go to the club and just mix in with the intro. It doesn't always work that perfectly.
It doesn't?
No,
it doesn't. So like Spring said, we're going to start kind of a new series. We might take some breaks if something else comes up, but we're going to be talking in the next couple weeks about songs with weird choruses, and today we're going to start with the songs that actually don't really have any chorus. Maybe they have a chorus at the beginning and end, but they don't have anywhere easy to mix out, anywhere in between. So once you start the song, you're either in it for the long haul or you got to get really creative. So
a lot of these, actually, in this list with no chorus, it's all hip-hop songs. And a few of these are songs that you'd really only play, for the most part, at a straight hip-hop club. I mean, it's cool to drop really... Any of these you could really get away with dropping at like a bottle service club, but it's not songs you're going to be playing every week. And as far as hip-hop goes, obviously people expect you to scratch a little bit more, especially when you're playing in a straight hip-hop club. So that's really how you might get out of a lot of these songs.
You might find just a cool phrase or a cool word at the end of a phrase that you can scratch out. But that's really...
The worst thing I hear is when people just scratch out of a random part of the song. Usually, like JD just said, you want to scratch out of some hook, maybe if it's a special part of the song where normally you might even cut the music and everyone would sing. I mean, just something different, or like... We're going to talk about Children's Story here by Slick Rick. There's parts of the song where he uses like different voices and stuff like that because he's actually talking like characters in Children's Story. So a part like that you might be able to scratch out of. Don't just do it at some random part in the verse for no reason at all. At least kind of know where you're going to scratch out of it.
Yeah, Children's Story is one of the lesser of the evil no chorus tracks because it's short. It's only about 2 minutes, 10 seconds maybe. So if you do start it and there's nowhere to mix out, you only have to play it for that long, which really isn't all that long, but about halfway through the story you're just like, oh man, when am I going to get out of this? Yeah. And you really can't, because it is a whole story, it's not necessarily just some verses people are saying stuff, you almost do have to play the entire thing. But it's only about 2.5 minutes. So,
and because of this, I can see, like with a lot of these songs, they're not that easy to get out of, and I can see maybe people avoiding them at the club. But if you do, definitely have a plan if you are going to play it. And with Children's Story, if you're going to play it and you do let the whole song ride, you might be able to get out of it at the very end where he says, "This ain't funny, so don't you dare laugh." It's kind of the last little part of his story. Or if you wait after that's over, then it has the Knock 'Em Out the Box sample at the end where you could probably mix out of that too.
Yep. Some other ones are Scenario.
That has a chorus at the beginning and the very end. In between, there's definitely a lot of parts where they call out and reply to each other where you might be able to scratch out of it. What I hear a lot of DJs do with this song, to shorten it up, is you hear DJs just open up with the chorus and then they'll scratch right to the Busta Rhymes verse, which is probably the most popular part of the song, although this is a song I really like, so I wouldn't ever cut out any of the song myself, which everyone might not agree with. I mean, I don't really play the song a lot, to be honest. But so they scratch into the Busta part, and then that's the last verse, so the chorus is actually right after that. So that could, I mean, really solve that whole problem if you do that.
Yeah, it shortens it up a lot. It's one of those real group songs where you can tell that they were really writing it together and everybody's verse flows into the next one. So it's a really...
Actually, probably my favorite hip-hop song of all time.
Spring's favorite. Yeah. Another song that's like that would be Triumph by Wu-Tang, also another group song where they just kind of flow in and out of each other, and there's really no chorus in that to mix out of either.
I mean, just with Scenario, even though I like the song, I really like Triumph too. It's a song you would never really play the whole song of at a club. I mean, people would definitely be restless for the most part, especially if you get into prime time, even at like a straight hip hop spot. So I could see someone maybe even scratching out of this after Inspector Deck's verse right at the beginning, even cutting off Method Man's verse, which is really dope. Because especially at hip hop spots, when you're scratching into the next song, you're kind of hoping to get a reaction when you drop and scratch that next song anyway. So people won't be too mad if you scratch into something dope again. You'll get another reaction for the next song, and they won't really notice that you cut out Method Man's verse.
Yeah. Another group song is classic Rapper's Delight. The original mix is like 12 minutes long or something.
Yeah, don't play that whole song.
You're really screwed if you don't know a way to get out of that.
Yeah.
There's definitely a couple parts in that where you can loop what they're saying, or definitely at the end of each verse is a good spot to mix out. Usually you mix out after the first verse, but if you get in there for the second verse, you still got another minute or two to wait before you can really mix out of that. So just like all these, you really have to prepare a spot to mix out before you start playing it.
Another one that's good back and forth is Rockwilder by Method Man and Redman. One thing I'll say about this song is I usually mix out of it at the very end, and this is a song that's even shorter than Children's Stories, so you can actually kind of let this whole song ride. At the very end when they do the la 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 part like that.
Nice.
That was the first time I ever really sang on the show. When they do that part, that's where I usually mix out of it, and that's actually 8 bars, which is perfect. But I will say this, if you play one of the intro versions with the site, they also make it so it has an outro, and at the end of Redman's last la, that's usually a cappella in the original version of the song. So I'm used to that part, and the first time I played the intro, when I went to mix out of it, I didn't realize there was going to be drums coming in that the guy who made the intro put in there. So be very careful of that. You should at least know they're coming if you have the intro version.
Yeah, because the original it was almost like a transition where you can go to any tempo after that. You just scratch the kick of the next song and you're good to go. Another one, Oh Boy, Cameron. There's a couple, like the Oh Boy sample has some repeats that you can maybe use to mix out of. But that's really about it, and that's like a good 4-minute song. So
yeah, definitely listen to that song ahead of time, as with all these.
And then Jay-Z has a couple.
Yeah, Jay-Z is gonna make this list quite a few times, especially when we talk about the songs that have different chorus structures too. The first one we'll talk about is PSA. Won't really talk about that too long because we already did talk about how to mix in and out of that. So go watch that video. We're not even going to talk about that at all. Just go watch that video. That was only a few weeks ago, I think, that we did that. The other Jay-Z, he has You Don't Know, which I heavily recommend you go back also on our site and get Tommy Diz's version. He made a dope party break. I've been playing that.
Yeah, me too.
I actually heard Ross One, who was just at Shrine, he played You Don't Know for literally 2 seconds, and then he scratched into PSA before Jay-Z could even go into his verse of You Don't Know. It was very quick. So for all you DJs who aren't that quick, definitely get Tommy Diz's party break.
Yes.
I don't know if that link, do you think that link would still work?
I think so.
Alright, so go check that back on our site. The last Jay-Z song that we could think of that didn't really have a chorus is Do It Again. I mean, it has some parts that people know the words to, that you might be able to mix out of if you prepare ahead of time. Joe Maz from Discotheque just made a dope party break for this actually, which you also would have to prepare for his party break too, because that doesn't really have any set structure. So just, I can't stress it enough, with all these songs you got to prepare and have a plan ahead of time with how you're going to mix it in or out.
Yeah, all these you can get really creative with. You got to find something that works best for you, and that's what's kind of nice about these in one aspect, because it really can showcase each DJ's creativity and what they can really do by where they mix in and out of them. So, think about that a little bit. We'll be back next time with more songs with different chorus structures. So hopefully it'll help us all get to mix better.
And who was it? Was it Joey C? or was it John? Which one from Mashup Mafia?
Yeah, Joey.
Who,
Yeah.
It was Joey C. who gave us the idea. We had been thinking of doing this, and he suggested a few songs. So
We're definitely gonna have to shout him out because he gave us a nice little list that we'll talk about next week.
yes.
Until then, if you think of any songs with weird chorus structures that we should talk about, we definitely want to hear about them. Hit us up in the comments, register and leave a comment, or email us at remixreport@gmail.com.
Go through these songs that we told you to go through and practice and study. Don't forget. Don't be lazy.